Just give me a minute, man. They cut my feed while talking. Just give me a second. I guess I'll just keep on going. My feet was cut. I was talking about Esau. Well, I was about to get on that topic. The topic, as you can see it, is a second part. Slack for that. But I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to just get right to the point. All right, with Esau, at this point, you should be able to connect who the devil is. Because as I was saying, not knowing who the so-called white man really is, that was all part of the so-called white man's agenda. Because this man was created to be the wicked. He was created to be the liar. You go into Revelation, the 13th chapter, it tells you that he was able to deceive the whole world. All right? And, like the elder, Aina, the brother I was doing the lesson with a minute ago, when he was talking about, we were talking and I made the point, I was like, the world can't even, I was telling the brother earlier before we did this live today, man, that, even before with our live yesterday, our camp live, the elder had made a comment about how it wasn't like this before. Now, the brother was talking about the chip, the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, spoken about in Revelation, the 13th chapter. But the talk about it wasn't the way that it is now. Every day you can hear something or you see something now about the chip. You got new advertisement, new advertisement or promotion about this thing every day. But the same thing is with, the so-called white man. All right, he wasn't being talked about in the fashion that he is being now. But now every day, if you can, I see it a lot on Instagram, but people are posting things about, two-time felon, 34 cases of, pedophilia and this and that, talking about Trump. And, but now every like the elder Yashimama said, man, every day now you can find something new about this devil being talked about, man, and it's crazy. And there's even more stuff, and there's even stuff we don't even we don't even cover, or more stuff to be revealed about Esau and his wickedness, man. But with all the noise and the chatter that's going on, like I said in the title, you should be able to connect who the devil is now. When you look at the devil in the Bible, with the wicked, the behavior, the malicious intent, the framing of unjust laws, the prescribing of unrighteous decrees. When you understand what a decree is, what a law is, ordinances are all the same thing. Penal codes. All right, you find out who's making all these laws. All right, who's talking the most? Who's the loudest right now on the internet? It's the so-called white man. All right. This man is signing law here, signing law there, with his bitch ass pen, his stupid ass cardboard, portfolios of Donald Trump. What is he? All right, white. He's a so-called white man. We tell you that he's we say so-called white because the so-called white man, that whole thing of white and black is a construct. All right, this devil created to illuminate his image as righteous and pure. But this was all a ruse, man. It's all a charade. It's all an act. The so-called white man, because I wanted to talk more about Psalms 55:21 when the brother brought it out. But it says that his words were smoother than butter. Man, bro, look at butter. You've seen these videos on YouTube where and it was Edomites that would do them a lot, man. You had a little bit of Jake, but it was a lot of Edom. It was a lot more Esau all right, doing these pranks on themselves or to their roommates, they would butter the entire floor, right? They would spread butter on the entire floor, and they say, "Babe, come in here," or "Hey, Sean, Sean, come in here, man. I need some help." And they'd run into the kitchen, and they'd fucking just, plant face or just slip back because the butter was slippery. So yeah, I mean, but sometimes you got to just spoon feed the fact that butter is smooth, right? So that texture of butter, the way it feels when it melts, when you eat some, right off, right? But that's how the words of this devil were, man. They came off smooth. People just ate it up. That's what this devil did to the world. All right. It says, but war was in his heart. Or it says that his words were smoother than oil. All right. In the part about oil, real oil, like it wasn't talking about no goddamn engine oil. It was talking about like olive oil. All right. Olive oil is very beneficial and healthy for you. This man promoted and pushed that wickedness was beneficial for you, man. That's crazy. Whoever did something like that, man, in this world, it wasn't us so-called blacks or Latinos and Native American Indians. It wasn't the Iranians. It wasn't the Chinese. You know what, man? To be honest, unless I'm looking for it, I don't hear nothing about China trying to influence, us Americans to be more like them or to come over there. You don't hear about these other nations trying to influence you to adapt their culture and to come over there. It's your motherfucking Edomites, man. You so-called white people. Like I said, they're not white. They're not white people, man. It's so-called white. They're red. All right? That's something that's actually important to understand. All right? Because when it described this man in the scriptures, Esau, it said that he came out all red and hairy, like a garment. And the reason why he was described as red, he is red. When you look at the so-called white man, he is red. He's just a light shade of pink. All right? And that's because he lacks melanin and pigment in his skin. Everybody else on the planet, now, I'm not going to get into the whole, well, you've had our line and other nations mix and mingle, so they look like white people too. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an actual Edomite. All right? Adawamyam, which means to be red. Edom. Esau came out red and hairy like a garment, and his name was changed to Edom because of the time where he wanted that red pottage, red, blood, right? It all factors in, okay? Being able to connect this information allows you to get one step closer to who the devil is, because when we talk about Esau and we label him and we pinpoint and hone in on who this man really was and is still today, he is the devil that the Bible speaks about, because it was Esau that was lying. All right, I made the correlation of Yahweh Shai when he was talking to the wicked scribes and Pharisees. All right, and they were talking, and he was telling them that he said, "You are of your father the devil." All right, it says he was a murderer from the beginning, and he abode not in the truth. Who is that? Who was he talking about? Because you had back in the Roman Empire, you had Israelites that made covenants, which going back to the Greek Empire, man, they had made covenants with the heathen, and particularly Esau, which was a so-called white man at the time. All right, the Greeks were Edomites. All right, Alexander the Macedonian goes back to Esau. The Idumean, all right, and Idumea goes back to Edom, and Edom goes back to Esau. See? Being able to connect this is dangerous against Esau. Now, in my last, before they cut the feed, I was talking about the Orlando camp. Their live was titled something like, "There's too much light for Esau to hide anymore. There's too much light for him to hide in his darkness." Being able to keep this man, because, man, I actually brought this out a couple of weeks ago in the live, our live, that, the reason why it's important, why we keep talking about this devil, because that's what it was. And Talisman man said that, forgive me for my fatigue type of, energy right now. I'm pushing because, I've been sick for the last week and a half with pneumonia, man. and it drains, the breathing and shit. So slack it. I'm not trying to come off all, but I'm working my chest right now, man. I'm still recovering. You know, I'm doing a lot of coughing. So slack it. I just noticed that I feel like I'm dragging. I feel like my eyes are drooping, but I'm still making those lessons, man. But anyways, the elder made the correlation. You know, some of these fuckers, you know, in Israel, you know, trying to just graze over Esau being the devil, and that's it. They ain't going in and actually calling them out. But that's what it is. Man, I got to make that lesson. Lord willing, I can make it. When you go into Isaiah, the 28th chapter, and it talks about that with stammering lips, will he speak to this people in another tongue. The stammering lips is because English is not our original tongue. That's why we struggled. That's why we, I just did it right there. That's why we stutter. You know, this is stuttering, stammering lips. But that happens because English is not our original tongue. Hebrew is. But so I did research on why stammering lips is a form of mockery. Because this was actually outlawed. All right? Esau didn't want us to learn his language. So-called blacks, Latino, Native American Indians, it was made illegal. It was made illegal for us to be able to learn to read and write. All right, because you know it goes into a lot more things. But look what we're doing. All right, we're able to talk in this man's tongue and tell him to his motherfucking face in his own language and his own type of culture that he's going down. He's going to be destroyed. See, you know, if you can't connect communication, and you know, it's like they show in the movies. You know, alien species coming down, they try to communicate. You can't communicate, and things happen, right? And it's not found out what the real intention of what they're trying to do really happens until they actually make an action, right? You know, well, that's how Esau tried to keep it with the with you Israelites and with the world. Well, really the whole world. All right. So, but it's gotten to a point which we already know the whole will and the strength of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, the true living power. He's the one who allowed this to happen. All right, to where we can get on a level to be able to condemn this man in his own language, in a language that the entire world actually predominantly speaks. All right, it said that language is the most spoken language on the planet. Or no, it said that English is the most spoken language on the planet, even in China. That's why it made a direct correlation to the Chinese. But it's the most spoken language on the planet. So everybody can understand now. Now we can tell everybody, like, look, it's him. This motherfucker right here. I keep thinking like Kim Mosiah, this motherfucker. You hear this motherfucker? This motherfucker. It's Esau, man. Yeah, it's that man. This is the man. It's crazy because, you know, I was going to say, like, we sound like a broken record, man, that we talk about Esau. All right, and I didn't finish that point. You know, the elder was talking about it. You know, like you should be talking you should be talking about this man every day. There's a reason. There's another scripture where when you go into it, I can't remember which one it is, it talks about not giving no space to the wicked, not giving them no leeway. Because that's the problem, man. That's the problem with Israel. That's the problem with the whole world, man, is we allowed this devil, you know, and again, you know, from an earthly viewpoint, it's as if the nations, us, Israel, we allowed this devil the room to climb the way that he did. You know, and that's why it's gotten the way it's gotten. This man was given too much leeway. He not even leeway. He was given too much room. Really, you know, the whole world should have been on this devil. You know, like the brother said yesterday. You know, at this point, everybody's just got to jump this motherfucker, man. It takes everybody to jump the bull, you know? And that's what it's getting to. That's why the nations are rousing up, all right? That's why, you know, the war is coming. It's getting to that point where, you know, end of this man's continual stroke, like it tells you in Isaiah the 14th chapter, I believe, all right? He that smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. The Israelites are at the end of that, man. We got the worst end, all right? Because this devil hates us. But in some form of fashion or way, Esau has been a bitch to everybody, man. He's been an asshole, and he's harmed everybody. You know, I brought out about how in the Roman Empire, how this devil did harm to those that did no harm. He's harmed those that were at peace with him, you know? And that can go into even Israel, man. You know, Israel, us Negro Latinos, because this devil wants to try to say that we're the problem, man. But what fucking meetings? You know, you know, you had like the freedom fighters, the Green Beret, you know, I can't even think of it anymore right now. Shit, the Black Panthers. You know, you had these, you know, groups at times that were being roused up. You know, Jake was seeing that Esau was a devil, man. All right, and that just relating to my topic, you should be able to connect to the devil. That's what happens whenever when Esau is exposed. That's what will naturally happen. The people will resist and want to you know, rouse up, because they realize that this devil has been a devil. He being a devil, you know? And I'm like, you know, just re-emphasizing the pinpoint, you should be able to connect with the devil is at the time that we're at. You know? At the time that we're living in, you can look up stuff, man, that this devil's doing. You can look at what he's doing currently right now. All right? Again, his words were smoother than butter, but that's to keep you distracted from the fact that he's got swords drawn at you, man. The chip is his last form of, you know, his last sword that he wants to pull on the people to enslave, to globally enslave everybody. And he wants to be at the top of that power, and he wants to destroy anybody. Because here's another thing, man. The reason why this devil is censoring everything and shutting down companies and you know, platforms and, you know, panels and, you know, all type of sort, is because eventually when a person doesn't like the fact that the government is going to try to weaponize things against them or against the people, and he'll blacklist the company and say that they're a threat to national security now. Is the threat to national security is really truth being spoken or exposing the devil that he's trying to be maniacal, man, and sadistic. Technically, any amount of truth that deals with the so-called white man exposing them is a threat. That is true national security threat, or a threat to true national security, is exposing him and showing him that he's trying to kill you. You know, you had this thing with Greenland. You know, Esau trying to acquire Greenland, and he kept trying to say it's for national security reasons. This nigga wants to acquire more land to have more of a vantage point of war, man. That's national security, is being able to fortify. That's what it is. The claim of needing more national security essentially is more fortification, defense, having more defense capability to make yourself more strong. What need do you have to be strong and might if we live in a time of peace? Shit don't add up, man. This devil talks about peace, but why is he talking also about a war, man? You don't create peace through war. Well, with this man's war, all right, because you do have the scriptures that talk about how World War III has to come to pass. The woe must come to pass, because at the end of the day, the World War III is going to be the last war that's going to destroy the wicked, and that's going to be the so-called white man. All right, but the war that Esau is, gaming is so that he can own you, and have you survive off of garlic cloves and fucking air, man. So, but all this should be able to be connected now. I don't know. That, I guess that's kind of going to be it, because there should be nothing else to say, man. If you can't connect who the devil is at this point, I mean, look, man, Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? If you can't understand who that's talking about at this point in time, man, you must be completely lost. Because there's only one person on the planet that's doing so fucking much right now, man. Bumping his goddamn gun, saying that he could destroy the entire planet 150 times, or all these other countries. He could nuke He could nuke these countries 150 times, and still have more to use. That he has a God-given right, that our country has a God-given right to do whatever the fuck they want to do, and they can take whatever land they want or country that they want, and they can't do nothing about it. What the fuck, man? And just to you know, if an American watches this video, just understand that this is the guy that you allow to talk on your behalf, and the things that he's saying are extremely fucking bold right now. And you know, because you watch the news and you believe the crap that's coming from the news, you think all is well. Take a look at these other countries' news outlets, and you tell me after watching them if they're in alignment, or if they're calm about what Esau's doing right now to him, what Trump is saying, what the elites are planning to do against these other countries. You tell me if they're cool with it after watching them, because you can find some channels. Shit, you can find it on Instagram, man. They got people in these other countries making Instagrams talking about how, you know, like I made mention yesterday, these other countries, they don't consider America a first world country anymore. They haven't for the longest time. They ain't looking for America to team up with them and to make technology with them to advance them and evolve them. All right? They all these other countries are saying that they don't want no part to do with America anymore, man. And I always say this, man, that's when you aggravate the peace of an Edomite, of a so-called white person. Watch how they react. And look how Esau is reacting. Trump is the face of Esau right now for the elites. All right, he's a puppet. But look how he's acting. He's getting mad. Now all he's doing is threatening these other countries. He's threatening Iran. He's threatening Denmark, threatening Greenland, threatening China, all right? Threatening North Korea. What was it? This recent one with Maduro. What is it? Venezuela? Okay? Cuba. And we already know that Cuba, you know, and America never got along. Okay? So, but look what he's doing to everybody, man. He's fucking putting terrorists on everybody. And it's even known that Trump even has been lashing out at his own fucking allies. All right? He lashed out at the entire EU. All right? Over 30, I think it's 33 plus, it's 33, 37, something like that, countries Trump has threatened since the beginning of 2026, but, you know, coming out of 2025. All right? And you people think it's for political reasons, political rivalry. They killed 2 U.S. citizens. They're bombing. Well, I mean, well, no. They killed some Christians. But then you find out America's going to war with these countries because they want the resources. They want the uranium, the plutonium. All right? They want the oil. Okay? It's fucking crazy, man. It's fucking crazy. This place is about to get fucked up. All right? And you Americans, y'all better prepare. Y'all better prepare, man. Something is coming. So connect the dots or not, it's gonna happen. War is on its way, and you also get the so-called white man to think for that. All right. So, anyways, you should be able, at this point, you should be able to connect who the devil is. The devil is Esau, the so-called white man, because the word devil goes into the Latin word or diablos, which means to be a liar or a deceiver. And this is the greatest liar of all time. He made you believe that he wasn't the liar or he wasn't a wicked person. But you're going to see it even more, and it's going to get to an undeniable point, man. It's going to come to fruition, and fruition is not necessarily a good thing, man. This is a point of reckoning after being warned, and you didn't take the warning. So it's going to be perplexity. All right, you're going to be baffled. You ain't going to know what to do, and you're going to bitch up about it. So times are coming. All right. So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. To give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. All right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which rule well. Peace and much love, honors, and blessings to the elect of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, which will their kind of composure and integrity. To the next one, I say Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barakatham. Shalom, the Bible, Shalom.